All right, if you're selling something high ticket, you know the feeling, right? You get leads, but they're not the right leads. Today, we're going to break down a formula that completely flips that. It's all about attracting customers who are basically pre sold and are already asking for your help before you've even had a conversation. So, here's the big idea, and it kind of turns all the usual marketing advice on its head. The problem, most of the time, isn't your ad. It's not your copy. It's not even your offer. It's that you're aiming at the wrong target entirely. We're about to see how fixing who you talk to, your market selection, is the real key to solving your conversion problem for good. And to really see what this looks like in the real world, let's dive into a case study. It's about a massive product launch that, from the outside, looked like a huge success. But when you look closer, it actually revealed a massive flaw in how most of us think about getting leads. So picture this, a major launch for a product. The marketing was an absolute machine. It had endorsements from all the top names, affiliates were scrambling to promote it, and the campaign generated a list of around 80,000 leads. I mean, by any standard, that's an incredible number, right? But here's the reality check. Out of those 80,000 people who raised their hand, only 2,000 of them actually bought the product. Just look at that gap. We are talking about a 3% conversion rate, even with every possible advantage you could want in a launch. It's kind of shocking. And that right there perfectly sums up the lesson. The effort was huge, but the results were tiny in comparison. See, the problem wasn't the marketing engine. It was the fuel they were putting in it. They were attracting the wrong people. Okay, so if getting the wrong leads is the big problem, how in the world do we find the right ones? Let's switch gears and talk about the solution. And it all starts not with how you market, but who you decide to market to in the first place. This is step one, and you just can't skip it. But wait, before you can even think about picking a market, there's a foundation you've got to have in place. Your offer has to deliver what's called massive transformational value. The outcome for your customer can't be a small, nice-to-have improvement. It has to be huge, a real game changer. That's what justifies the high price and makes this whole formula click. So how do you find that perfect market? Well, let's look at another quick story. The exact same marketing service was offered to two totally different groups of people: plumbers and chiropractors. The service didn't change, the price didn't change, but the results? Whoa, night and day. Here's the first huge difference, and it all comes down to value. For a plumber, getting one new customer was worth about 500 bucks. Okay, but for a chiropractor, a single new patient was worth anywhere from $6,000 to $30,000 a year. That's a massive, massive difference in value from the exact same marketing effort. Now, think about how that feels to the business owner buying the service. That $6,000 a year fee for a plumber making, say, $60K is 10% of their entire income. That's a really tough sell. But for the chiropractor, that same $6,000 is a total no-brainer to potentially get a return of $60,000 or more. It's not just affordable, it's an easy, smart investment for them to make. So this story gives us this perfect little four-part filter for choosing any market. You're looking for people who, 1, immediately get the value you offer. 2, they can easily afford it without blinking. 3, they're the type of people who will actually use your solution. And finally, number 4, they are the ones who are set up to benefit the absolute most from it. Okay, so you've done the homework. You've found your perfect market. They check all 4 of those boxes. Now what? How do you actually get their attention in a way that builds instant trust instead of just making them put their guard up? And that brings us to the second half of this whole equation. This is the fun part, the psychology of it. It's a framework for your marketing that completely bypasses all that skepticism and gets your ideal prospects to actually ask you for help. You know, the old way is to just bribe people with a free PDF. And sure, it works, but it brings in leads with their arms crossed, thinking, okay, what's the catch here? The new way is to actually engineer your message so they come to you already trusting you, pretty much saying, I have this problem, and I think you're the one who can solve it. These 3 words, please help me, that's the whole goal. I mean, think about it for a second. You would never, ever ask someone for help if you didn't trust them, and you wouldn't ask them if you didn't believe they could actually solve your problem. So that one little phrase proves that the 2 biggest sales objections, trust and belief, have already been taken care of. So what's the engine that makes this all work? It's what the source material calls the BAP, or the big ass problem. Now, this isn't just some small inconvenience. This is the most urgent, the most painful, the most pressing issue that is literally keeping your perfect market awake at night. And here is the 5-step formula to build your marketing around that problem. Step 1, you identify that BAP. Step 2, you shine a huge spotlight on it, right in your headline. Then, step 3, you prove that the problem is real using objective third-party data, not just your own claims. Step 4 is key. You twist the knife by showing them exactly why this problem will only get worse if they do nothing. And only then, in step 5, do you finally show them the light by presenting your solution. So you see, when we combine these two big ideas, the smart market selection and the psychology of attraction, we get a complete, powerful system for bringing in high-value buyers almost on demand. So let's wrap it all up. The entire formula starts with a product that delivers that massive transformational value. Then you use that 4-part filter to select the absolute perfect market. Then you use that 5-step help me formula to attract them by focusing on their biggest problem. And the result? You get a consistent stream of high-quality leads who are pre-qualified, pre-motivated, and actually excited to become your best customers. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Instead of just shouting about your solution, how can you re-engineer your entire marketing message to first make your ideal customer aware of a critical problem, and then get them to raise their hand and ask you specifically for help?